Welcome back, everybody, to the Inside Texas Basketball Show. I'm your host, Evan Veith, as always, joined by the Keenan Womack right next to me. You've been talking about the Rangers a lot on Twitter. I've been noticing, Keenan. It's been a weird season, but how are you doing overall?
We're about to sweep the Yankees, dude. I'm doing great.
Who isn't sweeping the Yankees these days?
We got the Phillies next. It's going to be tough, but right in that wild card spot, brother.
Hey, it's only like 3-4 games back. Before we get into some basketball, the other B sport, of course, Inside Texas is the best place to go for all of your just athletic Texas sports-based needs. Don't forget that just for $1, you can sign up right now for this week and get full year access to The Athletic, as well as, of course, Inside Texas, which is just the best bundle you're going to find. It's just as a bonus, your membership includes that complimentary year to The Athletic. So make sure you go check that out. We are in the heat of Texas football fall camp, which is, of course, leads up to that Ohio State game at the end of the month. But basketball, which you're going to hear about a lot about today, is heating up. Baseball, you're still going to get some stuff from National Night, but really, basketball and football season is right around the corner. And, of course, that means that you have to go get Paul Wadlington's Inside Texas, or Thinking Texas Football, excuse me. Too many insides. Thinking Texas Football, the 2025 Longhorn Football Prospectus. There's a recruiting update from Eric Naleen. Every single SEC team is addressed in Paul's piece. And, of course, the Longhorns, every player 1 to 99 is talked about. It's the best book you can find about Texas heading into the season. So don't forget to go check that out. Keenan, back to the basketball here. We got some news from the basketball team, which it's been a little bit quiet, but we finally have gotten our first media availability from Coach Sean Miller. We're not going to touch on that a whole lot today because you're going to write a lot about that in the next week. We'll probably touch a lot on it next week. But two big things. We'll start with the first one. Tramon Mark. We knew he got a surgery in the spring and was recovering from that. Kind of been something that hadn't been talked about a lot just because new hire, a bunch of international and transfer portal prospects. But Mark's health is one of the most important parts of this team coming this year. What's the update on that? Because you heard directly from Miller himself about it.
Yeah, so he's been cleared for all activities except for contact. He's shooting, he's dribbling around, but he's not. Basically what Sean says, they can't take the risk yet to put him out there against other guys. About 4 weeks he'll be cleared for contact, which is huge for this team. Getting Mark back was incredibly important. I mean, he's going to be the point guard, I'm pretty sure. Maybe Wilcher will get some minutes there too. But, you know, for as much off-ball movement and playmaking by committee as there is with a Miller offense, you have to have an engine that drives the offense, and that's what Tramon Mark's going to be. So really important news that he'll be back. He'll be back before the season, and he'll be practicing probably by September. He'll be suiting up and playing full contact, playing 5-on-5.
Yeah, we're almost 12 weeks on the dot away from that Duke debut out in Charlotte, and that's November 4th. So him not being able to play contact for 4 weeks really isn't the end of the world for this Texas team. And of course, you just want him to get back into play. It's good to hear that he's shooting. Good to hear that he's dribbling. That piece about the point guard spot, which is, we're not going to dive too deep into what Miller was saying about that, but Simeon Wilcher is someone that's going to be playing there as well. Do you think because Mark is battling that injury that maybe early on they're going to kind of get Wilcher a little bit more acclimated at that spot first and then have Mark ramp up a little more towards SEC play, or do you think he's going to be ready to go by that first game?
Oh, I think he'll be ready to go by Duke, yeah. I'm sure they're playing – trying different things as far as who's going to be the lead initiator. I'm sure Tramon Mark Simeon Wilcher is getting some reps as the point guard. But, yeah, Tramon Mark's it's his job, and he's going to be the starter at that position.
Yeah, of course, contact is a part of every single position in the sport, even down to the point guards. And Mark's a pretty big one for point guards, so him missing out on some contact isn't going to mean a lot.
Yep.
Keenan, we have a schedule. Drop today. We are recording on a Wednesday, and perfect timing for us that we just – we were going to talk about some of the media availability, but of course, this is where we're starting with. Just to get you up to speed, we knew about the non-conference schedule. Of course, that's what we mentioned. Duke, November 4th, and you got a string of 4 kind of cupcake games, your Lafayette's, your Riders. The Maui Invitational in late November. You play against Virginia to start December. Connecticut in between then and Christmas. But then you have 2 more games, and at the turn of the new year, 2026, which crazy to be saying that, you have SEC basketball, which is just awesome. It's going to be Sean Miller's first time playing in the SEC, playing against these opponents, over 4 months away now. But Mississippi State is that home opener for Texas, opener for home and just generally for the SEC play. It's going to be a weird time because Texas football will probably be playing around that time, just with bowl games, that college football playoff. Students will be on break, so there's not maybe going to be as much of a home crowd as you'd like for that January 3rd game. But this Mississippi State game, what are your thoughts on it being the number one? Is it good for the Longhorns? Is it bad? And what should we know about this team heading in?
Yeah, the guy you got to know is Josh Hubbard, right? All SEC guy last year, one of the best scorers in the league. He's like 6 feet tall and plays shooting guard, but he's just like an incredible shot maker, incredible handle, just super great balance. Like he can hit shots falling away. Like he's just an incredibly talented scoring guard. A guy I think could maybe end up and maybe play some time in the league. I don't know. The size is kind of an issue. He's like 5'11", but they lost a lot off last year's team, right? Keyshawn Murphy was, arguably their second best player last year. He transferred to Auburn. So they did bring in Jaden Epps from Georgetown, who's a talented lead guard, and they got a core out of the transfer portal. They also brought in Amir Ali, who's a guy that I liked out of high school, played last year at Arizona State. Didn't do a ton there, but that team was really bad. I think it's a very winnable first game. Chris James is a very good coach, but I think it shouldn't be a big problem. I think Texas should be able to handle business in their first game of the year. But, I mean, no guarantees. Mississippi State's still an SEC team, SEC talent.
Yeah, we share a similar sentiment of the idea that even when Mississippi State's at their best, this was a team that Texas, a bad Texas team last year, did beat, though, in overtime. And Mississippi State lost a lot. Like you said, Keyshawn Murphy's the big one. I believe R.J. Melendez is off the team now, who is another impact player for them. So, yeah, Hubbard, you look it up, and he's not even listed as 6 feet. I was going to make a joke about how if you're listed as 6 feet, you're a 5'11" player. College Basketball Reference has him as a 5'10" player. So that's what you got to know. And that's in the favor of this Longhorn team because apart from Jordan Pope, every guard has size right now of the rotation they plan on playing. So that's going to be something where Texas is going to bring a lot of size to the team, and that's good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have a lot of size on the perimeter outside of Pope. And, Mark's 6'6", so if that ends up being one of the guys he ends up guarding, could be beneficial. But he was able to score against bigger guys all year, so we'll see.
Then, after that, just 3 days later, it's a Tuesday or Wednesday. They do that a lot with some of these schedules when it's this far out. You're going to a doubleheader of ats where you're doing Tennessee on Tuesday in the midweek and then Saturday at Alabama, doing that tour of just some of the powerhouses of Texas or of SEC basketball. Tennessee, of course, the Rick Barnes reunion. They like to get that in as quick as possible. It's not even a reunion at this point. He's been away for so long. But Tennessee, first of all, what is this team's identity now? Because I believe Ziegler is out of his eligibility. Is that correct?
Finally. He is finally out of his eligibility. They replaced him with a pretty good player, though, man. Jacoby Gillespie out of Maryland, really, really talented guard. Averaged like 14, 15 points a game last year. Super talented player. They also bring in a top 5 freshman in the country, Nate Ahmed. He's kind of a shooting wing. He's like 6'9", small forward. So just like NBA size, top 5 pick type potential. Jalen Carey, Felix Akpara. Like this is a really, really good team. And they're going to defend like crazy. Amari Abraham is also going to probably play the shooting guard spot for them. Really, really good team, man. I mean, Barnes, his offenses get a lot of flack, but his defense is always super stout. Nate Ahmed has great size out there, and that's going to be a really tough second game. The SEC is at Tennessee, and yeah, that's going to be a tough game to win. But you don't get good until you start beating these kinds of teams. So maybe it's good that they're going to get some of these early games and just kind of build them up for the rest of conference play.
Yeah, and then that Alabama team's another one. It's been a 1 and 2 seed the last 2 years. Some of the best coaching in the country. What's their identity coming into the year? And what are the odds that Texas can even take one of these 2 games?
Man, I don't know. I think Alabama might be even tougher than Tennessee, man. They bring back LeBaron Filan, who's a guy that probably would have gone top 20 in this year's NBA draft or at least borderline. Yeah. I don't know what kind of feedback he got from the NBA, but definitely a guy could have gone first round, no question. I know the Miami Heat were looking at him as a possible draft pick. Latrell Wrightsell's back, really good shooting guard. They also bring in Miami's Jalil Bethea, who was a 5-star, like top 15 recruit in the country last cycle. But he went to Miami, and that was like the worst team I've ever seen. Was the Hurricanes last year? I mean, just like truly, really, really bad basketball. I mean, they just didn't drive the rim. They didn't create opportunities to score. It's a lot of mid-range step backs. They had no post players. It was a disaster. So he's there. Taylor Bowen is there. Really, really athletic power forward. And then Aiden Sherrill is back for his sophomore year. Very talented big man. At center, they also have Aiden Holloway and Houston Mallett. I mean, this is a really good team, man. This is a team that could compete for a national championship, really on the backs of their guard play. I mean, Filan, Wrightsell, and Bethea is an absolutely ridiculous group of guards / wings. Really, really talented roster. And then bringing Aiden Holloway off the bench and Houston Mallet, it's a ridiculous roster. They're going to be really, really good.
Yeah, starting 1 and 2 in this SEC schedule is probably nothing you can be disappointed about with the Texas team, especially with how new a lot of the identity is. And just getting your feet wet against teams like Tennessee and Alabama is going to be important for Miller. Don't let these be blowouts, of course, but that Tennessee game especially is going to be a tough environment. You head back home after that to the next week. Vanderbilt, then, of course, the A&M game, kind of that first really big game. Vanderbilt, I'm not sure how much the students are going to be involved in that Tuesday when it's just transitioning back into school, but A&M truly is kind of the game to circle for Texas fans when they're starting it off. So first, Vanderbilt, where is this team in the SEC? Because it feels like there's a chance this is a bottom 5 one, but they also do have at times had players that can elevate them a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, I don't think this is Vanderbilt's year, to be honest. I do like Tyler Harris, who's a Washington transfer. Tyler Nickel, another guy, big wing, 6'7". Devin McLaughlin's going to play power forward for them probably. Jalen Washington at center. I don't know how good they're going to be. Mark Byington is a great coach, so we'll see what he can get out of this roster. But I think overall, Vanderbilt is probably going to be, bottom half of the SEC, maybe a little bit lower than that. But we'll see, man. I mean, Byington does more with less a lot, so we'll see.
Yep. And then Saturday the 17th, in the Moody Center, students should be fully back. This should be a packed house of both Aggies and Longhorns. It's the biggest game of the year until, you can see the schedule yourself, for viewers, maybe all year for Texas, maybe until you get to like Georgia or Florida in late February. So what are your expectations for a game like this? Both the atmosphere in the Moody Center for Sean Miller's first huge home game and also just the matchup between the Longhorns and the Aggies. How does that stack up with the new coaches on both sides?
Yeah, I really like Bucky McMillan. I think he's a really good coach. He had kind of a Nate Oates sort of story where he was a high school guy and he was really, really good at high school. He took over, I believe, the Mercer job. I believe that was the job he was at before. If I'm wrong, please check me on that, listener. You can comment how dumb I am. Anyway, he came from what an idiot. He came from a smaller school, very analytics-driven type of guy, very all about the threes and frees. Fun, free-flowing offense. I really like the class they brought in, man. I like Rylan Griffin a lot. He's a Dallas guy. He played with Cason Wallace at Richardson High School, one of the best high school teams in DFW area history. That team was incredibly good. Mackenzie Mbacco from Indiana, really talented scoring forward wing kind of combo, 6'9". He was getting some NBA looks last year. Federico, the man so nice they named him twice, playing center. He's a graduate transfer. And then Pop Isaacs, another tech guy. Played his last year at Creighton, I believe, or last 2 years at Creighton. And then Jakari Lane's going to be their point guard. I think this team's going to be better than people think. I think Bucky McMillan is pretty good coach. I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, this game is just going to be a delight for Longhorn fans. This is the one where you're probably going to feel most this kind of shift from the Terry era to pretty confident, it seems most fans are, Sean Miller era. I will say in Miller's sake, he's going to have to do a little bit about kind of what Chris Beard did at the school, where he's got to be out there and in front of fans to show them that this game's important. Because I think if there's one thing you can give Beard, he was good at that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from Luxe, and then we'll come back with the rest of the schedule.
This video is brought to you by Luxe Kitchen and Bath. Luxe has been offering high-end kitchen and bathroom remodels for 3 generations throughout the greater Austin area. With 5-star review after 5-star review on Google and Facebook, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, you can put your faith in Luxe Kitchen and Bath's award-winning designers and skilled craftspeople to bring to life that dream vision of your special home. But that's not all. Luxe's all-star team provides full remodels, large additions, and even commercial build-outs as well. So call Luxe Kitchen and Bath at 833-358-LUXE today. Or visit luxekitchenbath.com to discover where quality meets luxury and begin the process of transforming your home. Get a free quote today by calling 833-358-LUXE. That's LUXE. Or by visiting luxekitchenbath.com. Link in the description.
There's no breaks in SEC basketball, so you get to Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it is, and you got to be out in Lexington, Kentucky, Keenan, for this matchup against Kentucky basketball, which, you thought they were good last year in that first year with Pope. where are they at this next year? Because it seems like they're really hitting that stride that you're looking for with a team like Kentucky.
Yeah, it's a scary team, man. Jalan Lowe is a really, really talented guard. He played at Pitt last year. He was in the same backcourt as Bub Carrington. Really, really talented guy. Denzel Aberdeen, transfer from Florida, big shooting guard, big talented guy. Otega Owe is back. Super, super talented wing. Transfer from Oklahoma. Killed them last year. I think he hit 2 buzzer beaters against them. Which is very funny. Mo Diabate, another guy, really talented, big wing. And then Brandon Garrison's back to play center. They also bring in a couple of really, really talented freshmen in Malachi Moreno and Jasper Johnson. And then the big question mark is Jaden Quaintance. When will he be back? That is a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. When he is back, he's dealing with a knee issue. They say somebody told me today be back around January. So when they get him back, they will be a national title contender, no doubt about it. Probably right around when Texas plays them, he'll be back in form. So yeah, Kentucky looks awesome this year. That's a crazy roster.
Yeah, Quaintance will be the big storyline of that. Like you said, he's one of the premier draft prospects. Would have probably been able to go this last year if just different things fell for him as a freshman. But
no, he was just too young. That was the only reason he didn't go pro. He just wasn't old enough. He missed the draft.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't even quite know that. So yeah, there you go. Georgia next. Kind of one of the ones we can go quicker through because it's at home, another Saturday home game for the Longhorns. Georgia's definitely one of kind of the rivals that Texas is emerging, at least in football, for this new SEC thing. But is Georgia basketball in a good spot right now, or are they kind of going down as Texas is potentially going up?
I think Texas is in a much better spot. They did bring in Kanan Catchings. They have Sam Tissero at center. Both are really talented guys. Blue Kane's a really good wing, shooting guard. But they lost their best player last year, was Asa Newell. He was 21st overall to the Atlanta Hawks last year. So I think Georgia is I think that's a very winnable game for Texas. Yeah.
At Auburn, at Oklahoma is a pretty tough double road spell right there. Auburn, of course, is just one of those teams that people know a lot about from these last 2 years. You think of Janai Broome, you think of Chad Baker-Mazara. Now it's Todd Pettiford, correct, as that number one guy. And this team is probably not going to miss much of a beat, is it?
No, they're not. They bring in the 2 Keyshawn's, Keyshawn Hall and Keyshawn Murphy, who are both amazing players. Like Keyshawn Murphy, an amazing center at Mississippi State last year. Keyshawn Hall is a small forward wing, kind of scoring type of talent. I think it's South Florida or Central Florida, one of the two. And then they bring in Filip Jovic, who's an international guy, really, really talented player as well. I mean, this is going to be a really, really good team. Abdul Bashir, the 3-point shooting wizard, he's on the roster as well. He'll probably play a more tertiary role where he comes off the bench and runs off screens and hits shots. But yeah, Auburn is another national title contender. I mean, that's an incredibly good team, and they're going to be really scary.
At OU, of course, is the big one that you're kind of seeing as an away game for Texas as they're getting that transition from January to February. Because that next run of teams, South Carolina, Ole Miss, very good. Missouri, LSU, maybe not the toughest total of grouping there because we already knew who these teams are going to be. We should know the ordering of it. So this Kentucky through Oklahoma, really A&M through Oklahoma is a really tough 5-game span. Yeah. So firstly, what is this OU team bringing out? Where do they stack up against Texas? And that to A&M to Oklahoma, those 5 games, is 2 wins a success? Is three possible here? What are you looking for with this team?
I think you get 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. I think you're in good shape. Just don't lose all of them. Don't lose 4 of them. I think you're fine if you do that. OU's backcourt's really good. Xavier Brown and Nigel Pack. And they bring in Alabama transfer Darian Reed. He's a really, really good wing forward type of guy, like kind of a combo forward. Tay Davis going to play power forward. This is a pretty good team. A lot better than last year's team, I think, even with losing Fears. I think their infrastructure is a lot better. And I think Xavier Brown and Nigel Pack are going to be one of the better backcourts in the SEC.
Definitely. Like I said, that kind of next run, South Carolina through LSU, not the biggest thing. Of course, you're getting Beard back in Texas.
Yeah, Ole Miss is scary too, man. That's a really good team. Elias Camerdine, guy I've been watching for years over in France. I thought he was going to end up in the NBA draft pretty soon, but he's going to go to college route, play for Beard. They also bring in AJ Storr from Kansas. Guy who's played literally everywhere, it seems like. And then Malik Diaz is an awesome forward, man. They also bring in Corey Chess from LSU, who's another really talented guy. Nico Bundalo is a freshman forward. This is a really good team, man. Travis Perry from Kentucky. I mean, this team's going to defend. They're going to defend their Beard team. And I think this team could compete for the SEC championship.
But that is kind of the run, even if you were to drop that game where you're at home a lot of it, you're playing against some of the weaker opponents. You then do that at Georgia, but really in February, what you're circling is the 7th, that Saturday against OU, and that Wednesday game in Austin against Florida. This is going to be way past football season. Baseball's just starting. Fans will be very tuned into Texas basketball for these last 4 or 5 games. Florida, are they the number 1 team in the country heading in? Because from the talent, just the names on there, it seems like that would be the case.
They're certainly top 3 at worst. I think Houston's the best team, personally. That's my team.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the teams in there, Houston, Purdue, Duke, Florida. I think Texas Tech is up there as well. But, this Florida team's insane, dude. I mean, their backcourt is ridiculous. Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan were 2 of the best guards in college basketball last year. They have both of them. Thomas Hawk, they're moving him from forward to wing, and it just works. Whatever Golden does works. Alex Condon at power forward, Ruben Shinilu at center. I mean, this team is not going to take a breath. They're going to be just as competitive as they were last year. I mean, Todd Golden is a brilliant coach, and this is going to be a really, really tough game at home. Even with an improved Texas roster and a much improved offense, this is going to be a really tough game at home. And hopefully, the crowd goes crazy for that one. I'm sure that'll be an awesome game to attend.
And Texas has done a good job this offseason at really building up their front court, something they hadn't done in the past 2. But, man, that Florida front court is just huge. I mean, you basically have a power forward playing small forward and 2 centers out there, or whatever you want to call Condon.
Yep.
That's just a giant
6'10" guys out there. Yeah, it's not easy to play against those guys. And Texas has size, too. But, I mean, this team's so good, man.
Yeah, definitely. And then you're getting a duo of real hostile environments into one that Texas is going to provide to their own. A&M, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Just, give it up to the schedule maker, because that's an awesome way to end it. End of February into early March before you get into March Madness talks. A&M, we've already talked about it a little bit, but at Arkansas, man, this is going to be a fun one. And Arkansas fans do not like Texas and Fayetteville. That's one of the things we know. The hatred's a little more on their side than our side, but this team is still going to be very good. And with who's at the helm, it's always going to be a tough team to beat. But is there maybe more of a chance Texas has against this team than last year? Because it felt like at times of that game, Texas just felt so out of it and so demoralized by what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, Trey Johnson scores, 39 points, and you still lose. That was pretty tough.
Yep.
This trio of guards is insane. It's a 300 monster. Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas are both freshmen, and then DJ Wagner's back for his junior year. I mean, that is as good as it gets in the SEC. It's them and Florida, I think, have the 2 best backcourts, off the top of my head. Carter Knox is back. That's a guy that could have gone in the first round. He's back. Trayvon Brazile is somehow back. I don't know how, but he is. Malik Ewan and Nick Pringle, 2 transfers. Malik Ewan from Florida State, Nick Pringle from South Carolina. Those are both really talented bigs. And, it seems to be really good. I read an article recently on SI about Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas being one of Calipari's best freshman backcourts he's ever had, and that includes think of the Malik. He had Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox, and he had Isaiah Briscoe with Devin Booker, and he had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he had John Wall, and it's just an insane grouping of guys he's had, and this is one of the best groups he's ever had. This is going to be a really, really tough game on the road for sure.
Yeah, if there's anyone that can coach guards that are this young as well, it's going to be Coach Cal to get probably all 3 of those guys in the NBA by the end of this year, which would be a feat in itself. Oklahoma is where you ended off. Texas gets that last home game there. We're going to zoom out a little bit, Keenan, before we go. 18 games that we have here. First of all, how many do you think Texas is winning? What is your general guess for what this team will be? And also, given what we know about the strength of the SEC, how many is a team like Texas going to need to win to be not just on the bubble, but comfortably in the tournament come March?
I think the goal is a winning record. I think you go 10-8 in this schedule, you're cooking. With a brand new roster, brand new coach, brand new program. I think if you can win 10 of these games, you are cooking. 9 of these games, I think, would be fine. I think you make the tournament with 7 wins in this conference, but I think the goal should be higher than that. It's super talented, has not taken a step off at all. Kentucky's better. Florida's pretty much where they are. Auburn is just as good as they were. Alabama is just as good as they were. LSU's better. Ole Miss is better. Oklahoma's better. This is going to be a really tough conference this year, but that's why they play the games, man. That's why they joined the SEC. They joined the SEC to play a schedule like this, and that's what they're getting. And you can't back down, can't be scared. It's time for them to just step in and do their best, work hard, and just see what happens. I mean, this is going to be a really, really fun basketball season because this schedule is insane.
Yeah, I don't know if you can take this as a good thing or bad thing, but in Sean Miller's first year, I'm only super confident that 7 teams around that are better than them, but feel very confident about those 7 being ahead. So that puts you already in the middle of the pack. But the 11th best SEC team may be making the tournament this year, and that it could be the Longhorns. I think maybe the goal, like you said, is to get to like that 9 spot, because the some games that you have, the Oklahomas and A&Ms and Georgia even, feel pretty winnable. So I do think that Texas is in a good spot. If they take 4 of those, you're already over halfway to what you need to be at, really. And that's just a great spot to be in. I think that's going to do it for us here today, Keenan. It's been a fun one. I love talking schedules and just
Me too.
thinking about how this Texas team is going to look. We'll be back next week, of course, probably to talk a little bit more about what Miller said. We're going to hear more from him as the season goes on. But fans, it's only about 3 months away, and I know like you're only focusing on football for most of you, but basketball is coming around the corner, and it's a new era at Texas. Of course, don't forget to go over and subscribe to Inside Texas. You can get it for just $1 this week as your first week. As a bonus, of course, your membership includes a complimentary year to the Athletic. Just an awesome deal you're getting. And then Paul Waldington's Thinking Texas Football. I couldn't get that right today. The 2025 Longhorn Prospectus. It's just the perfect book to go after if you want to learn about this Texas team. And you only got about 24 days left to really get to know this team before Ohio State comes in. There's a lot that's going on the Inside Texas boards and everything involved with that. Recruiting as well for both basketball and football. So make sure you go over and check that out. It's been a really fun one, Keenan. Thanks as always for coming on. We will see y'all next week. Thanks y'all for watching.